Good afternoon, this is Wilhelmina.Ford from Australia. I'm talking about supply and demand determine the price. Now we're talking about gold and diamond produced in West Africa. West Africa is the biggest producer of gold and diamond and cocoa and coffee beans in the world. 50% of precious mineral produced in West Africa. Why Chinese are there in West Africa? Why Australian are there in West Africa? American, European, people from Dubai, even Filipino workers in West Africa, been hired by a company to dig gold and diamond. So therefore, Africa is a high demand. Oh yeah, people are poor, but the natural resources, they are rich on natural resources. There's so many investors in Africa. The country invited the investor to come because they offer a lot of things. They offer oil, they offer gold and diamond in their country. So now I'm selling the finished product produced by my seller. Now I am a seller's marketing consultant of the seller. I handle sales of my seller. Now we're talking about gold, especially in Ghana. That's in Ghana before Ghana, Conakry, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Uganda, Kenya, or Tanzania. Now I'm gonna touch the gold first, particularly in Ghana because I was there in West Africa. My seller invited me to come to see what's going on in West Africa. I witnessed a lot of problem. Buying and selling is not very difficult if you are not crooks, but if you are crooks, it would be difficult for you because the seller will not deal with crooks. Sometimes the seller will take a revenge. Now, in terms of gold, the price of gold today, as of February, it's March 4 now, the price of gold is 1204.13 per ounce. Per ounce today, March 4. Sometimes the price of gold ups and down. Now you multiply that 32.15 in order to get the price. The price today is 38,712.77 in 1 kilogram of bar. Now you are buying to the seller, which is a wholesale. The seller will give you the price LME less 7%. So per kilo, as a buyer, you're gonna get 2,710.10 per 10 cents per kilo in every bar. So the selling price is 36,000. Sometimes we give you 35. It depends on how serious you are. Now I'm gonna ask you, what are you intend to use? Because gold has many uses. Either you make medical uses, you only need 21 carats or 18 carats. If you make making computer uses, you only need 18 carats. You only need 21 carats because it's not really big deal. But if you're looking for making jewelry, yes, you're looking for 22 carats. Yes, you're gonna looking for 23 carats. And if you're looking for gold bullion, yes, you are looking for 99.99. So therefore, you pay the premium. So there is a category when you buy the gold. Okay. Now, to get the 24 carats, which is 99.99, you will only get that on the final refining. So we will provide you 600 grams if you are looking for 99.99. So in 1 kilo, my seller will provide you 600 grams. The seller in Mali will provide you. Okay, the gold in Mali is high purity. In spite of that, even though it's high purity, the seller will provide 600 grams in order for you to get what you are looking for. Now in Ghana, the seller will provide you 3.5 grams in 1 bar. But sometimes you cannot even, you will not be safer. Why? Because in Ghana, gold in a certain area are low purity. Now, if the gold produced in eastern region, the quality is very poor. If the gold produced in Kumasi or Awase, Torquay, the gold purity is a little bit okay. So you need to taste the gold. You need to ask and smelt the gold in order to get the quality of the gold. Now that is not even refined, just only an acid testing. Because in Ghana, they don't have the X-ray machine. They have 14 refineries, but they only use manually. They have a gold gun to determine. But in overseas, they smelt the gold. They are after the smelting, they're gonna put the gold into the X-ray machine. So the X-ray machine can tell the purity and the quality of the product that you are buying from my seller. So I hope you register this information to your back of your head. Now, so the chemical element was not even reduced yet. It's only percentage of the chemical element has been removed. So on the final destination, the purity, the chemical elements would be removed because your buyer is a refinery. The refinery is sophisticated. They have an X-ray machine. Go back to my Facebook. There was an example of a buyer from California. She brought the gold to California, and it was smelted in 2 kilos. And the reduce is huge. The 2,000 kilos turned into 900 grams. The result of the gold is 1%. So there was an issue between my seller and the buyer. So I'm still fighting with the seller to replace the gold. So I'm using this example in the final assay. Do not rely on 1,000 kilograms. It is 1 bar. You always tell the buyer. That's why I'm having a video so that buyers and sellers understand the quality of their products. Now, when you come to Wilhelmina, I always advise you step by step. I even myself tell the seller, you need to give extra gram to that buyer when the gold will leave the country. Now, going back to this gold in Ghana, the gold in Ghana is very poor quality. That I have my seller, Dangara. I fired Dangara. I fired MDG because they are negligence. And I told Dangara and MDG, Owasso, Dixon, if your gold is low quality, do not sell your gold. Stop digging gold because it will hurt your company and it will hurt the buyer's pocket. So that is the reason why I'm explaining through this video. I fired 5 sellers in Ghana. I fired them because they are not paying attention. I am working both buyers and seller. I want the buyer to be happy in order to come back to my seller. I fired 5 sellers in Ghana right now already because they are not paying attention. So now in Mali, come to Mali because Mali's gold is high quality and purity. Now in Mali, my seller is cooperative. In Mali is a country, Bamako is the city. You don't need to come to the village, you come to the city because the gold will bring to the city and test to the government laboratory. Alright? So, 1,000 kilograms, my seller in Mali, they smelt the gold into 1.6 kilogram in 1 bar. You go to Mali page on my Facebook, you can see everything. That picture, I took that on video conference, a snap video conference. Every week, my seller give me the update, the production of the 3,500 local members. Okay? So now, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight of this cooperative. Their member, they dig gold. They have a dust gold. They collected 100 grams, 50 grams, 200 grams. They collected in one total 3,500 members. Then they melt the dust gold into bars. So when they melt into bars, 2 kilos of dust gold, 2.5 of dust gold, equivalent to 1.6 kilogram. So the seller is not really earning much money because it's their expenses, their overhead, etc. They are paying their people. Now these 3,500 local members, they are illiterate. That's why they are member of the cooperative. They bring their production to the cooperative. And then the cooperative smelt the dust gold and then they market to the world because cooperative has a license to export as well. So the cooperative come to Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina, here's the product. Now you market to the world. Bring the buyer to us. Okay? So that's why my role is I am the seller's marketing consultant. All right. So, as the buyer, you are a winner. Whether you buy 21 carats, whether you buy 18 carats, whether you buy to make jewelry or computer spare parts or medical uses or gold bullion, you are a winner. The 1,000 kilograms, 1,000.6 kilograms, you are a winner. When the gold will final assay, it will shrink, but still you are the winner, because the gold will shrink. You will lose only 3.5 kilograms, and the seller and Mali give you 600 grams. So the winner is you, as the gold trader. You sell it to the refinery on the refine. You cannot sell it to 3 or 2%. So you get more profit. Then you will come back to us. On the second shipment, we no longer give you the 600 grams. We calculate based on the result on the final assay. That is the reason why we give extra, because the government laboratory is not really sophisticated. So we understand that when it's final assay, the gold will shrink. We do understand that. The seller doesn't know that, but I know. Because I went to Dubai and I asked the refinery, yes, it will shrink because of the chemical component. So the buyer is paying the purity of the gold, right? So on the final assay, the purity of the gold is exactly the same, because we give you the 600 grams. You got my logic here? All right. So our price is LMA less 7%. Whether you're going to buy in Sierra Leone, whether you buy in Tanzania, whether you buy in Conakry. Because the Conakry gold, they smelt the gold into central bank. There is, in one bar, if you go to my Facebook, you can see the letter of Bamako, Conakry, the central bank. Okay, there is a name, Central Bank of Conakry. So it was been assay at the central bank. But even then, if it had been assay, you have to refine it, because your buyer wanted to refine the gold to his refinery to make it gold bullion, to make it into jewelry. He sell it to the jewelry manufacturer whatsoever. I'm just explaining you. Now, in diamond, okay, Africa is producing diamond everywhere. Liberia, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Ghana, they produce gold, diamond as well. Mali, they produce gold. So everybody has the gold, diamond into their country. Now, Sierra Leone is a very popular, because you remember the movie Blood Diamond, the pink one, produced in Sierra Leone. So now in Sierra Leone page, there is a video called Diamond Trading. Whether you export that in Dubai, whether you export that in New York, whether you export that into Israel, whether you export that into Europe, you always have a Kimberley certificate. The Kimberley certificate certify you as a trader that the diamond is free of blood diamond. So the seller will secure that to his government, to the Department of Mines. He will bring the stone after you inspect the stone. Then the seller will bring that to the Department of Mines to value the stones on the world price market. So the price of our gold and diamond today is a tax inclusive. You will no longer worry about, oh, I'm going to pay taxes. No, you pay the down payment. You will be given the diamond and the gold. Now going back to gold, some tricky buyers are scared. That's normal. So I told my seller, okay, when the buyer will make a deposit on gold, because the buyer says, oh, my seller might run away, probably, it might happen. So I told my seller, okay, in order for the buyer feel comfortable with you guys, assuming the buyer will buy 20 kilos on gold, ASEAN is melted, you pay the 6 kilos. It's yours, bank to bank. So the value, for example, today is a 36, okay? 36,000 times 20 kilos. 720,000 in total sale value. Times 20%, okay? Okay, 36,000 times 4, okay, 36,000, you pay 6 kilos. So 216, bank to bank. It's yours. You keep it in your hotel while the export documentation to be secured. Now, there are two ways that you're gonna hand carry the 6 kilos. The seller, you tell my seller, okay, I will pay the 6 kilos. I will hand carry the 6 kilos with me. Okay, you secure separate documentation on the 6 kilos with me, and then the rest of the gold, 14 kilos, you ship it direct to my refinery. It depends on you gonna have a discussion on the ground. Okay, so the 20%, it covers the value added tax, it covers export tax, it covers the insurance on the 14, because the seller would not pay the insurance, because the 6 kilos you hand carry, it's you paid cash. So the 14 kilos, you don't own that. So the seller will secure two separate documentation if you want. 14 kilos, the seller will secure that because you don't own the 14 kilos. You only own the 6 kilos. Does that make sense? So you will tell the seller. So now, seller, my seller, if you are listening to this video, you always also understand the hesitations of the buyer. Especially this business is very tricky business. Gold and diamond is very lucrative but tricky business. You can be screwed. Sometimes buyers are liars, sometimes sellers are liars, sometimes buyers are hold upper or mafia, because this gold and diamond, they use this one as gold laundering, they use the diamond as laundering. What is the cause of war in West Africa? Because of these products. So that is why the government, the international law, they regulate on how you import the goods. On diamond, you need a Kimberley certificate. Without that diamond Kimberley certificate, the buyer can be arrested as a smuggler, 14 years in jail. The seller, if you're gonna be stepping in their country and then you bring the diamond illegally, then you pay the price. That is smuggling. You're gonna be in the calaboose. So therefore, if you're a real businessman, so you follow what the Department of Mines is advising the buyers and the sellers, so that the seller and the buyer are happy at the end of the day. There was a news last year. There was an Indian guy. He because India is the consumer of buying gold, right? They're consumer of using gold. You can see Indian jewelry there, lots of gold. Now this trader from India, it was on the CNN. He swallowed the gold. 12 bars, he swallowed it in order for him to evade importation tax. Now what happened? He arrived in India. You can see that on my Facebook, the video from CNN. When he arrived in India, he has a stomach ache. So he went to the hospital. He said he swallowed detergent. Lie. When his stomach has x-rayed, the doctor surprised 12 bars in his intestine. So he was have an operation to get the gold. See how crook is the gold trader, Indian gold traders. The worst buyers are Chinese, are Indian as well. Lebanese, exactly the same. So I'm just sharing you this one by a video. So this Indian trader, his crook, he swallowed the 12 bars. You can see it on my Facebook. I copied it from CNN so that everybody can see it. So what happened after the operation? He was being arrested by Indian authority. He's a smuggler. So would you like to be an Indian trader? Would you? Would you like to be arrested in your country of arrival? Would you? Would you like to be your license to be confiscated? I don't think so. So you follow the rules of the country. Now, there was a guy from Istanbul, he said, follow the international law. The seller will follow his government law. You as the trader, you follow your law. So therefore, if you import the gold and diamond, you need to pay importation tax, because the seller will follow his government law to pay the taxes of his own products. So that is why when you have a contract with us, there is always a deposit subject to initial testing. After the testing, you made the deposit. The balance payment after final assay. Is that make sense? In diamond, exactly the same. You pay the deposit. Okay? You pay the deposit of 20 to 25%. It depends on the seller. Because when you make a deposit on the stones, the seller will pay the Department of Mines, the value added tax, the seller pay the export tax out of your deposit. So therefore, you pay the total sale value, you pay the products, your down payment. Now I'm going to give you an example. When you buy a car, you go to the dealer, right? For example, you want to buy a BMW, you want to see the car, how is the car looks like inside, whether there is a GPS, what is the features inside, the color, the sophisticated, automatic, or manual. Then the agent of the dealer car said, "Hi, Mrs. Ford, you like this car?" I said, "Yeah, it's nice." "Okay, how much is this price?" "Oh, Mrs. Ford, this BMW, it's 40,000. "All right. I like the features because very sophisticated. Touch button." So then the agent said, "Okay, Mrs. Ford, can you sit down? What do you want? You want a cup of coffee?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah." "Okay, Mrs. Ford, I will have a contract with you because we will order the car. We will order the car for delivery. It takes maybe 14 days. Okay, because Mrs. Ford will apply for a loan because I don't have 47,000 in my bank. So I have to go to the bank to borrow to buy the car." Now I am giving you an example. Listen very carefully of my situation. I'm giving you the example on how to buy a car. Right? You fill in the form, you do the contract, you make a deposit of 10% on the car. Now in gold, I will go back to the gold. Listen to that example that I'm buying car, right? On buying gold, you come to Wilhelmina, you send us a letter of intent. Attention to Wilhelmina on the first communication because I am a seller's mandate. So you send a letter of Wilhelmina. The name of the company is on my Facebook, right? So on your letterhead, you specify what are you looking for, how many kilos, where the gold to be shipped, which refinery, and what mode of payment. That is very, very important. Now, if you cannot say CIF, then immediately Wilhelmina will reject you. Now, on the CIF, we will give you CIF, but you make a down payment. Down payment 20 or 30%. It depends on the seller. It depends on the total sale value. Why? That deposit that you're going to pay, the seller will use that money to pay his government value added tax, to pay his government tax. Whatever the surplus, the seller has to pay his worker. The seller has to pay all his overhead because you buy the gold cash. That is cash you're buying, that's solid cash. So the balance of 14 kilos, you pay that one after final assay. Does that make sense? And diamond, exactly the same. They will examine the diamond to the diamond manufacturer. They will cut that. Okay? That is the reason why the gemologist has to inspect. So the gemologist has his own diamond tester as well. So I think my explanation, it really digests into back of your head. Plus, all the procedure is on my Facebook and on LinkedIn. When you see the title on LinkedIn, you click that, you will be redirected to my Facebook. I don't send any procedure anymore. It is in front of you. You listen, you digest it properly. If you are a real buyer, then we can do business. If you are not a real buyer, then you learn from it. Then you come back, take time, because this is not credit. You have to pay. You have to make a down payment, and you will be invited. Most of the buyer is on the ground asking, where is the buyer? I said, well, I have to interview you. Just like when you apply for a job, you will be interviewed. And if you don't know how to answer, you will not be hired. Wilhelmina will fire you. Wilhelmina will not entertain you. because it is my role to interview you. It is my role to know whether you are a buyer or not. It is my role on how you're going to pay for it. It is the role that the seller has to invite you to come. That is my role. When the buyer is happy, then my seller is happy for my service. My seller is hungry to sell the product to you, and you're hungry to buy the product to my seller, and Wilhelmina is hungry to service you. Does that make sense? I hope you understand what my video is all about. This is really very frank video, because I've done this so that you will also understand. There are so many crooks buyer. And if you are a small trader and you don't have a capital and you're going to use this gold and diamond to leverage, don't. Because you will never get diamond without Kimberley certificate. Never. You will be arrested right on there. So would you like to be arrested or what? So you better follow the rule of that country, because you cannot get the product without export documentation. So when the product arrive in your country, you follow the rule of your country. You need to have an importation tax. You pay the importation tax. You need to have an import license. Now, in our procedure, when you come to Wilhelmina, Wilhelmina will ask your passport. Wilhelmina will ask your importation license, because you never know. You are a hold-upper. You never know you are crooks. So we don't want our gold to be stuck in your destination. So everything has to be attached on the contract. My seller's passport, business license of my seller, and export license of my seller will be attached on the contract, and you as well. So we will not release the SKR, we will not release the export license, we will not release on the business license prior to the contract. It would be attached on the contract. And if you cannot provide me, then you are not a buyer, because Wilhelmina is a very, very strict. Because Wilhelmina has encountered a lot of problem. Okay? In Ghana, there's a lot of problem. That is why you as the buyer, you need to listen, you learn out of this video. In Ghana, I will repeat again, you need to ask where the gold coming from. If Eastern region, don't touch it. At the end of the day, you will encounter the same as my buyer. My buyer, the gold she purchased 2 kilos, turned into 900 grams. The gold is very low. That is why most of my buyer I diverted to Mali and Sierra Leone and Conakry, because the gold the purity is high. There is certain gold in Ghana that the purity is high, but you have to come to Wilhelmina, because I know which seller that I will put you. But it's not a credit. You have to pay. If you want to export, you have to pay 50%, sometimes 40%. The seller will ask you 40%. And if you will use a PMMC, then in Ghana, if you want to use PMMC, you put the money, the whole amount into PMMC. Then the PMMC will call my seller. Why? My seller is a member. And of course, PMMC is, the meaning of PMMC is a Precious Mineral Marketing Company. You understand what is marketing? So therefore, they're going to charge my seller. So my seller prepared to deal with the buyer direct, because the seller is obligated to supply to PMMC of 5 kilos every week, because PMMC is financing the local miner. Many years ago, PMMC is the one who do all the selling of gold to the world. The 2,500 members, they have a PMMC card. They bring their gold as a consignment. Then the PMMC will sell it to the world to the highest price. Today in Ghana, there are 14 refineries. So the seller will only supply PMMC because they are obligated. If they're going to find out, then the PMMC will revoke the license. So therefore, they prepare to sell direct to the buyer. And also they supply PMMC, because that is the normal contract. PMMC is financing the local miners cash advance. And you come to Ghana, you don't want to pay, so therefore you're going to stuck. There's a lot of buyer in Ghana was stuck. In fact, I met a lot of European and American, even Australian. I met them in Ghana. They couldn't find gold. They are also broker. I think I met a guy from Australia, from Western Australia. And he was dealing with the buyer in New York. And he was been promised. I will not mention his name because I don't want him to be embarrassed. So I asked him, how long you been in this country, in Ghana? Oh, I've been here almost a month, staying in the hotel. I said, really? Have you found gold? No. And why? Jesus Christ, Wilhelmina. The seller doesn't come on time. The seller doesn't show up. And I told this guy from Western Australia, I know the answer. If the seller doesn't show up, he doesn't own the gold. The gold belongs to the miners. And the miner will not give his gold without any down payment. So that seller, he doesn't have the money to give the local miners upfront, because the local miner would not give his gold to anybody. And you, as a broker, you're gonna ask, bring the gold to the refinery, I will pay. No, that is the reason why the seller didn't show up, because they are also an agent, they are a marketer. I know the reason, because I was in West Africa. I know the symptoms. If the seller wouldn't pick up the phone, something wrong with the seller. So if you want to buy gold, I even advise you guys, you come to Wilhelmina, I will advise you, deal with us properly, and I will advise my seller that when you buy, the seller has to stay with you in the hotel, because the seller doesn't live in Accra. The seller live in the village, 5 hours. So you come to Wilhelmina and we will discuss on how I'm gonna help you to secure gold properly. And I will even advise you step by step, and do not trust my seller either. Do not, because this is money you're buying. In this world, there are two kinds of people, good and bad. When it comes to money, everybody turn to evil. And I will advise you properly so that I would be paid by my seller. And if my seller made a monkey business with you guys, I will punish my seller. I will shame my seller globally. I will expose the seller that do the wrong things to the buyer. And if the buyer do the wrong things of my sellers, I will also shame the buyer. That you buyer, you are stupid and bastard. So look at my language. You hear my language. So if you want to buy, do it properly, and then you get more. Wilhelmina would love to help you, to service you. I hope you understand now. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant good afternoon and good luck. Come and see Wilhelmina. Come and have a conference on Skype with Wilhelmina. Okay? Thank you very much, and have a nice afternoon. Bye.